Hello everyone. This is our info video presentation and these are my group mates. Mr. Darwin Talabrico, he is assigned to invasive species and biogeochemical cycle. Mr. Emmanuel Cesar Gabo, he is assigned to phosphorus cycle. Mr. Mark Francis de Pesina, he is assigned to sedimentary cycle. Mr. Jeremy Rojas, he is assigned to anthropogenetic effects. Mr. Nicoli Vincent Kagampan, he is assigned to the epigenetics, and I am his stream Danga, and we are the group 3.
Sedimentary cycle. The sedimentary cycle is a minor component of the dynamic Earth's overall crustal cycle. The sediments of the sedimentary rocks are recycled several times before being destroyed. The Earth's crust serves as the reservoir for the sedimentary cycle, a biological cycle. They involve several earth-bound substances including calcium, phosphorus, iron, and other more. And you can see here the rock cycle consists of the following various stages: the weathering, transportation, deposition, and erosion. Weathering is the breakdown of rock and deposits in place. There are types of weathering: the physical weathering, biological weathering, and chemical weathering. The process of removal of newly formed rock as a result of weathering is what we call erosion. The sediments are transported from one place to another is called transportation. This also occurs due to the wind, water, and gravity. Deposition is settling and coming down to rest transported materials. That's called deposition. Lithification is the general term for the process of converting of the loose sediments into sedimentary rock. This combination of compaction and cementation.
Hi, I am Emmanuel Cesar D. Gabo, and I will explain the phosphorus cycle. The phosphorus cycle is a biogeochemical cycle that describes the transformation and translocation of phosphorus in soil, water, living, and dead organic material. Phosphorus is crucial for the development of both plants and animals, as well as the well-being of the soil's microbial population. Yet it rapidly depletes over time. The phosphorus cycle consists of weathering, absorption, and decomposition. In weathering, the rocks contain a lot of phosphorus, and weathering together with the rain breaks down the rock's phosphate, and these salts are swept into the earth and mixed with the soil. Next up is the absorption of plants and animals. Upon mixing in the soil, plants, microbes, and fungi absorb phosphorus for them to grow. The plants that absorb the phosphorus will be consumed by animals. Now, some phosphorus also gets mixed in the water, and fishes consume that water to absorb phosphorus. The last step is the return of phosphorus to the environment. Microorganisms decompose dead plants and animals, converting the organic form of phosphorus into the inorganic form, which is then returned into the soil and water. Sediments and rocks that have been exposed to the soil and water will eventually weather, releasing phosphorus once more. Consequently, the phosphorus cycle restarts.
Epigenetics. What is epigenetics? Epigenetics is the study of how one's behavior and environment can cause changes that would affect the way genes work. Epigenetic changes are modifications to DNA that regulate whether genes are turned on and off. They influence the production of protein in cells. This regulation helps ensure that each cell produces only proteins that are necessary for its function. For example, the proteins that promote in bone growth are not produced in muscle cells because we don't want bone cells to be growing in muscle cells. And environmental changes, such as a person's diet and exposure to pollutants, can impact the epigenome. Epigenetic modifications can be maintained from cell to cell as cells divide, and in some
An
cases, it
invasive
can
species can be any kind of living organism. An amphibian, like the cane toad, plant, insect, fungus, fish, bacteria, or even organism seeds or eggs that is not native to an ecosystem and causes harm. They can harm the environment, the economy, or even the human health. Species that grow, reproduce quickly, and spread aggressively with potential to cause harm are given the label invasive. An invasive species that does not have to come from another country, for example, lake trout, are not native to Great Lakes but are considered to be an invasive species in Yellowstone Lake in Wyoming because they compete with native cutthroat trout for habitat. Biogeochemical cycle. Any of the natural pathways by which essential elements of living matter are circulated. The term biogeochemical is a contraction that refers to the consideration of biological, geological, and chemical aspects of each cycle. Elements within biogeochemical cycles flow in various forms from the non-living abiotic components of the biosphere to the living biotic components and back. In order for the components of a major ecosystem, like lake or a forest, to survive, all the chemical elements that make up living cells must be recycled continuously. Each biochemical cycle can be considered as having a reservoir nutrient, a larger, slow-moving, usually abiotic portion, and an exchange cycling pool. A smaller but more active portion concerned with the rapid exchange between the abiotic and abiotic aspects of an ecosystem.
Hi, my name is Jeremy Rojas from Root 3, and I'm here to explain to you what are the anthropogenic effects. The anthropogenic effects are the consequences of human civilization on the natural order of the world. Before human interaction, the cycle of oxygen and carbon hangs in a balance, where one does not overpower the other. The addition of human civilization on our ever-growing population has compromised the balance of the natural order, but has also the natural forests that have been growing for hundreds of years, and the life of wildlife and their natural habitats. The destruction of these habitats and cycles comes with the consequences of rising temperature, microplastic eaten by the marine animals, and an unpredictable surge of natural disasters. The production of carbon by humans has damaged the natural order and should be limited, fixed, or find another way to produce the necessary materials without pumping tons into our atmosphere.